All right, guys. So, as you guys know, I'm the creator author of the channel, right? Well, you guys know this video is regarding cheaters, whether you're male, female, whatever you are, right? Anyways, I have a story. So, um, I used to play ball hockey. Okay, back then, I actually I met someone, right? I just being friends. She was dating some dude, whatever, right? But and she worked for the league, and so um, anyways, making a long story short, okay, about how many years in was that? 3 or 4 years into the relationship, okay. Um, there was a guy, okay, who she used to do things with, okay. And so, of course, we had, cell phones, everything else, right? And the really weird part was is that when they were together, she wouldn't answer her phone, she wouldn't text. I was thinking to myself, why aren't you responding back to me, right? And she'd be acting really weird when she came back. Like, don't get me wrong, like she's an attractive girl, big girl, but cute face and everything. I never really given a rat's ass about the size. Okay. He was an okay guy. I played hockey with him. We played on the same team and stuff like that. Okay. And so, as the years went on, I noticed that there was a lot of closeness, and I was like, but then he had the odd girlfriend, and she would get really freaking jealous that he had another girl. Right. I remember a few times, living with her, and she would just be absolutely barking at the guy, like, "Tell me about her. What the hell? Well, why are you with her?" And I'm thinking to myself, what does it matter? You've got me. He's got her. Why would you give her that much of a rat's ass about why he's got a girlfriend and what's going on there? You guys are adults. Let him deal with his own problems. So she was showing a lot of jealousy towards him, a lot. And and then so I would talk to her family, and they're like, yeah, she's always been like that towards him. Why? Like, if you've got a man in your life, who fucking cares what your supposed ex is doing? Let him live his life. He's an adult. So anyways, it turns out that you know we were living in a basement suite. And of course, I was having financial problems. I had problems having a job, keeping a job, whatever. And then one day it comes around and she goes, "Oh, we're all going to Hawaii." Oh, okay. So when do I have to pack? And she's like, "You don't have any money." And I showed her my bank. I'm like, "Yeah, I do. I've been paying you, and I've got my because I was a laborer. Okay, so I was working only part time, but I was still contributing, right?" She goes, "Oh, you're actually not coming with us." What? And she goes, "No." And I go, "Who's all going?" So she told me. I go, "So what's the sleeping arrangements here then?" And she goes, "Well, him and have our own room, and they've got their own room." And I was like, "Hold up. You're going to go on vacation with your ex and the other people, which are her family, but you're going to be in separate rooms?" She goes, "Yeah, what's the big deal?" I go, "Do I have a say in this matter?" And she's like, "Why would you have a say in the matter? We all wear," but she just absolutely laid a strip right off me, right? And she goes, "You should be just over here doing whatever, trying to." And so, of course, I couldn't call her long distance, right? So she would call me periodically. "Oh, everything's going well." She was all perky and stuff. I'm thinking, what the it's not just because you're on vacation. What else is going on, right? So my nerves were jumping at the time, thinking something is going on. They have their own room together. One, oh, by the way, it was a one bed room. Just to give you guys a heads up. So they clearly had to sleep in the same bed. And yeah, they are ex sleeping partners, so to speak. Okay, so now, just to give you guys a heads up, okay, I haven't spoken to this person in how many years has it been? 14, 15 years. But it was just that it's on my mind thinking that, this is a cheater's channel, right? So, anyways, so there was barely any contact with us. So I was doing my own thing or whatever. She comes back and her eyes were glowing. She was really happy and this and that. And I'm thinking to myself, normally if you've been on like an 8 hour flight, you're bagged, you're exhausted, right? But she said that they had been back for 3 to 4 hours. And he never came back. She goes, well, no. She goes, they went home and I went over to his place. Okay. So but him and I still remained friends because we were playing hockey together. I'm not, I'm trying to bypass the fact of everything she was telling me, right? And then, so fast forwarding this story to a time when we were living in actually, I think it was the same city actually. Okay, and I was working. I was only working across the street, and we had a family gathering and whatnot, and and they were just horsing around, just like feel like, snap, slap at the shoulder, stuff like that. Big deal, because that's what they did. They did a lot of play fighting like that, right? It's like big freaking deal. I let it slide because that's the way I do it, right? I didn't think anything of it. So, and then all of a sudden I was in the kitchen. I was like, hey, I gotta. Oh, right, she wanted this. So what I did was is went to talk to someone in the living room first, and then I proceeded, right, because he chased her into the bedroom, and I was thinking, why would you go in there? So I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna go. And so those two people in the kitchen, okay, at the time. Um, so I walk in there, and what do I see? Him pinning her arms down, and he was on top of her on the bed. And he's like, there's nothing going on. You're on top of my girlfriend. You have her pinned down. Her legs are partially spread, and there's nothing going on. Sure. If you have guaranteed almost that, if you guys were alone, could just imagine what would happen, right? So what I did was I just said, you know what? I got something else I got to do in the kitchen. So that was it. That was my response. I looked at them and I was like, what the fuck am I looking at here? And so she didn't immediately try and move him. She just went, oh wait, and then so I went into the kitchen. Her sister-in-law was there, and she seemed to look in my eyes, and she's like, what the, so I whispered in her eyes, well, in her ear, what I heard. She goes to me, that's fucking cheating. I'm like, and I go to her, I'm just, my blood pressure's going up and my anxiety's going like this, knowing the fact that I just caught my 6 year girlfriend with her ex boy toy on top of her on our bed. And so, her sister-in-law, she gave me a hug, and of course, her sister-in-law, her mother-in-law was in the kitchen because they had basically the family there. Right? I'm basically like an outsider kind of thing. Anyways, so um, what had happened was I grabbed a drink, and her sister-in-law was like, just go sit down, watch the game with the guys. And her father-in-law coach goes, what are you doing in the kitchen? That's the women's job. And I was like, dude, I know how to cook too, man. I'm gonna help out. And he goes, and she's like, no, you need to go with the guys. You've got sports on, just go. Right? So like, okay, no problem. So her brother was like, looked at me, and he grabbed my arm. He goes, and he said those words, right? And I was like, you're gonna find out in a minute. Right. So I sat down, and she just absolutely stormed out, and she tried to sit beside me, try and put her in, and I just went like this kind of thing. I'm like, don't touch me. And they sat quite a ways apart and stuff like that, and you could see the guilt on his face. It was like nothing happened, and I'm like, right, after what I just seen, that's nothing, right? And so I felt so freaking awkward being in the same freaking room with those two. It was just, I was like, ugh. And so what happened was after that is, and she goes, I'll be right back. I just went like that, and I just kept my eyes glued on the TV because hockey was on at the time, right? And so She went into the kitchen and with her sister-in-law, and her sister-in-law went, "What?" You know, and she's like, "It was nothing. We were just playing." And she goes, "He seen this," and she's like, "It was an accident." And she's like, saying the name, she goes, "That is not an accident." She goes, "I know you two used to do things, but that's ridiculous. You don't do that when you're with a guy who's been fully committed and we consider him as family." Her brother heard it and he's like, goes in and goes, "What the did you do?" And his wife told him. He's like, said the name. "What the hell were you thinking?" And he goes, your nieces consider him as an uncle. You guys have been together this long and you're doing that. So yeah, so basically, I feel like that I got cheated on when they went to Hawaii, and then I caught them in the act, and I knew things were going downhill. I'm starting to shake just from talking about it. Sorry, guys. And so yeah, I basically caught them in the act, right? And I was kind of stuck at the time because um, knowing the fact of my situation, I was in the middle of a divorce, and it wasn't going too well at the time. Unfortunately, the two ladies did not like each other up till today. They still don't. Because my ex-wife thought I was cheating, and I never was. So if she ever watches this, I never once cheat. Okay, just to give you a heads up. Um, so, anyways, as the time went on, okay, those two were spending a crap load of time together. Like they would, he drove a Jeep at the time, and I don't know where they were going, what they were doing, but and then she'd be calling me saying, "Hey, I'm over at blah blah's. I thought you were coming home." "Well, we decided to come here. We're going to sit here for a bit and then come back." And then she would come back and a little bit of face flush and stuff like that. I'm like, she doesn't drive. And I'm thinking to myself, mm-hmm. And that's when I figured, you know what, I'm going to try and do something a little different here. So when we went to bed, I would try and do things. And she'd be like, "No, I got to be up. I got to be up at work in the morning. This only takes like what, 5 to 15 minutes." "No, that's okay." So yeah, the denials were starting. So as the time was going by, I kept on trying and trying and trying. And then I find out that, she was complaining about my size to her sister in law. And I'm like, "What do you mean she's been complaining about my size?" And then she told me, and it's like, "Well, I'm sorry if I'm not, what I mean? Like, come on, man." And so her sister-in-law was like, "I think that's the reason why she's doing what she's doing, because she's not happy with how you are." I was like, "If that's the case, why didn't she just fucking dump me?" Well, what happens? 3 months later, she gets him to help me move my stuff. Okay. Only to find out that the rumor had it is that they've been doing things behind my back because she wasn't happy with the way I am. Gee, thanks. And that's when, you know, we decided we're going to go part ways. But she is now married. At least I think she's married. I haven't seen her Facebook in a long time. But yeah, so you guys, even if you're living with someone, okay, um, trying to figure out whether or not they're cheating or not, it's a tough thing to figure out, man. And it takes research. It takes being around the people. It takes, if you're going to be allowing your spouse to be um, hanging out with an ex, know the places where they hang out. Know the places where you believe they're going to be around a lot. Take a look at how their demeanor is towards each other. Now, don't get me wrong. I've seen their demeanor when they're outside. They're just like, they act like brother and sister kind of thing, like screw off kind of thing. But behind closed doors, man, it's a completely different story. They could be all over each other. And you know, I have other stories too that I can share with you guys. Like I'm looking on the internet. I'm trying to find the right ones to share with you guys to where I can leave my reviews. Okay, and I don't care if another channel sees this video and decides to use it for a review, I don't mind that whatsoever, even though there's nothing to this video. But yeah, after I caught her in the act, that's where when things really took a landslide and went downhill. You know, I could just imagine how many times they actually did things behind my back, and I'm really not too impressed with it, right? So up to this day, honestly, it's been about 15 years since I've seen them, roughly, and deep down, I am still feeling hurt, right? Because it was a person who I thought I can trust, you know, knowing her through hockey, got to know them through hockey, you know, because I used to play ball hockey, right? For so many years, I got to know them only to find out what was really going on behind the scenes. It hurts. You know, like I got other stories from other exes that I can share too. If you guys want to hear the stories, I will let you know. But just remember, there's always going to be two sides to the story. There's always going to be my side and their side, right? So, um, you know, like there's a few others that cheated on me too, and it's like, why cheat? Why don't you just end things with the person and move on in life with another person if that's what you want, right? So, but yeah, so if you guys want to know more of my stories, let me know down below, and I will be glad to share the best I possibly can according to my knowledge. But yeah, my motive still, you guys, you know, like if you are seriously women, okay, if you're not happy with the way your man is equipped, okay, and you feel that you're not getting the full satisfaction of the needs, get the hell out of there while you can. You know, don't say, oh, that guy, oh, damn, right? And all of a sudden you branch off for a bit just because you believe that he can be the dirty deed one, when you realize you are leaving actually a good person behind, regardless of, you know, because there's many different ways to satisfy someone, man. You know, if you want something and he could be a rookie, he doesn't know what he's doing, have a talk with them. Try to explore things, you know, like that's what I did with one of my relationships. We were like, you know, let's explore different options so we don't hurt each other. And that's what we did. And I'm telling you, man, it really paid off for a while until I found that one person was actually learning it from another dude behind my back. Right? But anyways, yeah. So and then vice versa, man. Like, you know, guys, you know, if she's not giving it enough, like to me, honestly, 1 day a week is good enough. Honestly, I'm 50 years old. Okay. I've got a sex drive like you wouldn't believe. Okay. And yeah, and I have not been with anyone for 3.5 years. And it's ticking, okay? It's a ticking time bomb. You know, I'm only getting up there in age, right? But yet I still feel that my body's in its 30s and I can still go, right? So, but I hope nobody else really has to go through these kind of experiences. Maybe I'll come up with a couple of videos, talking about going way back to when I was young, how I experienced it, and there's a few different ones too, just to get some exposure to what I've experienced, and you guys can share yours down below. Um, Under each and every video, there is going to be an email, okay, where you guys can email me, share with me your experience, so that way if you guys want me to share your experience with your cheating spouse, I will be more than happy to expose it, whether there's a video of you sharing it, pictures, or if it's just going to be text. It doesn't bother me because I could close caption it without a problem. Well, anything that you want, you feel that you need to do this, because I know we can legally do it to a degree, right? So, but I want to make it legit. I don't want to make it illegal, right? So, um, and if there's anything that needs to be blurred out, I will blur it out, because that's what I do, right? I have to show respect to all parties, right? So if any of you guys have any stories to share at all, please feel free, to fire it off to me, and I will review it. And if it's good, I'll do the review for you, and you guys will see me, like, right here in the top corner kind of thing. Yeah, right about there, and I'll have everything in the main video. So, alrighty. So, yeah, so that was just one experience that I had. I have many if you guys want to hear them. So let me know. And, yeah, I guess I'm going to talk to you guys later. I'm going to get back to drinking my water. It's almost 40 degrees and I am cooking. So, whew. All right, talk to you guys later.